So in this part, we're going to change the behavior of our package a little. So what I mean by this, at the moment we are accepting anything, any value in our register method. But goal is, so we accept only references. So if we get any value type, we should raise an error and then stop adding it to our internal state and start accepting only references or pointers. And for this, and then let me explain what I mean. So now when we have this, and also let's change it a little. So now we have p2 as a pointer. So this should work as it is. Like, I mean, if I go back to the terminal, let's also zoom in a bit here. Yeah. So if I call this application, run this application, it will work as it is. So only difference is now when I call println with this type, it will show only one object because this is not the name of the type. Name of the type is now with a star, which is, if I run it again, yeah. So now it works because this is a pointer, how like pointer is represented, because p2 is a pointer, and this is how this type is represented with a string. And our goal is to stop getting or stop adding anything like this and stop accepting anything like this in register. So we work only with the pointers. And to do this, I will need to refactor this part a little. And let me start doing it. First, what I will do, I will change this part a little so I don't add each object here, but rather do this with another function, which is going to be also a method, UI. I will call it register, let's say for now, value. It's going to be object, and it's going to be interface the same as before. Yeah, probably I need to turn Copilot because I think it is just what's happening here. Copilot current temporary issues. Okay, so can you disable it, just? Okay. Anyway, so what I will do here, I will from this public method, I will get this list of the objects. Then I will start iterating over them and move all this part, like reflection, getting name, to the internal method. And for this, let's start changing this part a little. And also like working with our internal state will also change. So now we don't need this part. I mean, we don't need to use this part here. So let's start by doing one by one. So I will have error, register value object. If we have missing, let's stop here. Actually, in future, we need to also think about this. Like, we need to change also this behavior. Maybe better idea would be, we need to think about this because let's say if we have multiple objects and only one is failing, should we stop or should we ignore only one? So this is something to consider in future. For now, we will just return an error. If any value is failed, we will return. And up to this point, if anything was added successfully, they will work. They will show up in our final UI. So now we have register value. Let's go to this register value. What's happening? Yeah. And here we will do all the magic with reflection. So I will have v reflect value of. So this function, this method will give concrete values, then the interface value of, and then we can get some details from this type. And one of them will be kind. Let me do this here. If so, our goal was to check if it's a pointer, then we skip it. If it's not pointer, then we continue adding. So if it's pointer, we return. I will just write error here. The error f. Yeah, object must be pointer. And then if it is okay, then I will get type name as before, which will be type and string. And then I will call another part, which will be just adding value. So here we are trying to register by doing some checks, and in our another function. So these functions will be like doing one thing. So it will also help us to test some better in future. So add value also private, which will be getting type name, string name, blah blah blah. Yeah, it's killing all the fun, by the way. That's why I wanted to deactivate. Yeah, so now I can deactivate it globally. Let's say globally. Yeah, because I this is something I already implemented. I guess this is how it knows all the details. But basically, what we want to check here, we wanted to check in our internal state if we have this exact type that we are receiving, or it is first time working with this type. So this is this check. If we don't have it, we make we add this type and also initialize this slice of interface of any types, let's say, and then we start adding this to this slice, to this list. And now we can verify. First of all, I will verify as part of this video. I will verify it manually, and then in one of the next videos we will put some unit tests for this part. So what I will do, I will go to another Visual Studio Code window, and here what should happen now. So this should fail. So what I'm going to do, let's check if we are in right. Yeah, it's in right directory. So what I'm going to do, go get. So I just forced to update this package, and then let's run it. Yeah. What happened here? Let me check if we have the right version. Yes. So we are registering P2. Yeah, this failed. I mean, this looks okay. So this failed. I was just wondering, so we are ignoring, so we can also do like this. If error isn't gone, yeah, then for now I will just print this to the screen. Object must be a pointer. That's correct. And now I will just change it a little. So we have value. Yeah, this also should fail, of course. Let's also check this one. And then we will need to change how we add these types. So let me go back here and this. Yeah. So there is also one more thing, which is now we won't have any types with this name. So I can basically remove this part. And yeah, for this part of the video, we are done. So maybe we can just recap. From public API part, what we are doing, we are changing behavior of this register. If we before accepted values, now we don't do it. And then we threw an error. Downside of this approach, if you have multiple items and only if one failed, so let me just show this how it will work. So let's say if we have P1, P2, and then P3 as a value, we should, like, I mean, we should have 2 items and last item will fail. If we put this, let's say in the start, then we will have all of them. Like, so we will not have anything in our list. So this is like downside. So we need to think about how we should handle errors in future. So maybe instead of this, what I have seen in other packages, maybe instead of this getting error, so we can just have this method. And if we want to check if there was any errors, we can do like something like this. But let's think about this in another video. But in terms of public behavior, we are accepting pointers. In terms of internal implementation, what we are doing when we have this public method, we iterate over the objects, try to register them one by one. Register first method that we introduced, it will check if it's a pointer or not. So it will do this validation. And second method that we introduced, it will add this method, add this object, add this value to our internal state. So that's all for this video, and then see you in another one.